Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman. You're watching this on the Michigan Business Network, and we're coming to you from the Grand Hotel. This is where the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce has their annual policy conference. And somebody who knows a little bit about policy, Brandy, it's so good to have you here. How you doing?
Thank you. Oh, thanks so much. I'm doing great.
Well, and Brandy is, of course, the CEO of the Community College Association.
Yep, I've been the president of the Michigan Community College Association for 4.5 years, so I think this is my fifth Mackinac representing them.
Wow. And we've had you on every year.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah. So what's new? What are your new challenges?
Yeah, we are obviously really in the thick of the budget season, and so we are talking about the budget to lawmakers on the island this week, focusing on a couple of areas, continuing to support these game-changing financial aid programs. Community college is now dangerously tuition-free for almost everyone in Michigan. If you're a recent high school graduate, you can get the community college guarantee to pursue post-secondary, so full tuition at any community college. And if you're an adult 25 or older, you can get Michigan Reconnect full tuition at a community college to pursue an associate degree. So we want to make sure those programs are sustained and stay strong, as particularly as we go into elections and a new administration. Maintaining those programs is a huge priority. And then obviously just ongoing operations support for community colleges so we can still deliver world-class training to students.
One of the things I love about community colleges, and I have some background in them, is that they're so responsive to market need.
That's right. Yep. So that's truly Michigan's greatest strength in our community colleges is how nimble they are to be hyper responsive to the needs of the community, needs of students, and needs of employers. They can turn on a program on a dime to respond to a new employer in a community that is adding jobs. They can develop customized workforce development training. They can offer dual enrollment opportunities to high school students. They offer enrichment opportunities for adults living in the community. They're sort of a jack of all trades and are, to your point, hyper nimble to be able to be responsive.
Yeah. Well, and you go back to the origins and why they were started, right?
Yes. So, and fun fact, we are 60 years old. The Michigan Community College Association and the Community College Act, which really set up the infrastructure and governance of community colleges, was passed in 1966. So we are celebrating our 60th anniversary or birthday, if you will, this year, which is a really great opportunity to reflect on the impact that community colleges have had.
That is just amazing. So you do a lot of advocacy work in that budget process, right? Are you worried about any?
I'm starting to get worried about, I guess, two things. One is just ongoing operations. In the original business model of community colleges back in 1966, the vision was that community colleges would be funded on a stable three-legged stool. A third of the funding coming from the state, a third coming from local property tax, and a third coming from tuition and fees. So making sure that third of tuition and fees is always affordable. We're doing pretty well on keeping our prices down and also providing significant financial aid for our students. But I'm worried about the two other legs of the stool. Today, only 25%, actually, no, it's less, just under 23% of our funding comes from the state appropriation. So that needs to grow over time. And then obviously there's a lot of conversations in an election year about property tax relief and property tax reform, and community colleges would be uniquely impacted by that.
Yeah, property tax reform is always a wonderful campaign speech.
It represents 38% of community colleges funding. And it's important to remember the millages that community colleges utilize to run the operations of their colleges were all voted by voters. Voters approved these millages and consistently renew them or increase them to support the infrastructure. And it's a real gift and a blessing to have a community college in your community, that infrastructure and as really a hub in your community. And so we need to be really mindful of any changes to property taxes and the impact it would have on community colleges.
Well, it's interesting because the stumbling block for the last 4.5 years for growth in the small business community is talent, right?
Right.
So the quicker we get these certification programs programs out and we get people on the street with some knowledge, the better we take care of that problem.
Yeah, which is exactly why another one of our priorities is to lower the eligibility age of Michigan Reconnect from 25 down to 21. We are missing these students in their early 20s that perhaps right out of high school weren't ready to really dive into a program of study. Students are a lot more cautious with what they do with their time and money now as it relates to higher ed. And so maybe they wanted a couple of years to explore the world of work, really figure out a career goal and a plan. And now they're ready to go back to college, but they're 21 years old, 22 years old. They have to wait all the way until they're 25 to have tuition-free community college. We're hopeful, and we have some bipartisan support for lowering the age down to 21.
Well, yeah, and community college does not have your normal student for the most part. They've got a lot of people coming back for education, training, et cetera, et cetera.
Both ends. We have high school students taking dual enrollment courses and 55-year-olds upskilling for a new job.
Yeah. People don't realize what a cost-effective way to get a 4-year degree is to do the 2+2.
That's right. And it's tuition free in Michigan. If you're straight out of high school, graduate in the class of 26, all you have to do is complete the FAFSA and enroll full time. You can complete your first half of your bachelor's degrees tuition free, no tuition dollars from students and families. And thanks to some really great transfer agreements that we have with our university partners, can seamlessly transfer into a 4-year degree program on their way to a bachelor's.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, Brandy Johnson, thanks so much for joining us, CEO of the Michigan Community College Association.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. We need those people.
Thanks.
All right, you've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more from the Grand Hotel and the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce's annual policy conference.